Hello there, it's Bronze and Modern Gods. I am John.
I am Richard.
And we are back again. Back. Who was the foot or not football? Oh, yeah, by the way, sports ball. Congratulations to the winner of the Super Bowl. Insert team name here in editing. Congratulations to you for your decisive victory.
It's so funny. Neither John nor I could give a rat's ass who's even in the Super Bowl, let alone who wins it.
Oh, I know who's in the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift. That's who's in the Super Bowl. Yeah. That'll get us a few thousand extra views this week. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bronze and Modern Gods. Lots of you have joined the last couple of weeks. You've hopped aboard this train. I can talk today. Thank you, all you new
Wherever
viewers.
this train is going, you are here.
You're going right into the ditch with us. Thanks for joining us. Hold on tight. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell, all those great things. Hey, podcast listeners, I see you, even though you don't see me.
I'm waving.
Yeah, I'm waving something else. Leave us a rate and review, podcast listeners. Hook us up. We've got everything for you this week. A nice, normal show, just me and Richard. Underrated books of the week. 25-year rule. Is this the first 25-year rule we've done for 2024?
I think so.
It might be the second. We're in 1999 now. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I'm already dreading next year when we hit the year 2000 for the 25-year rule. Yikes. Ay. Show and tell, viewer mail, and as always, we start off with our hot book of the week. Richard, do you have one?
I do not. Ultimate Black Panther #1. This book is just on fire. eBay completed sales are inching up to like $40.
My.
Some of this is due to FOMO, due to the Ultimate Spider-Man, people missing out on that. And now they're seeing this. It's doing the same thing in the aftermarket. But there actually may be some legitimacy to the scarcity for this particular book. Penguin Random House, they are rumored to have lost 12,000 units of this book.
Yeah, just heads up, that's according to Bleeding Cool. So caveat, but it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if diamond retailers seem to have gotten their full orders while shops relying on Penguin are shorted and didn't get any, which is a horrible situation for those who are looking for this book. Second print's already been announced, which is logical. Haven't read the story yet. Have you had a chance to read it?
No. Luckily, my LCS, Pulp Fiction, Long Beach. Hi, Ryan. Had copies, and I got a copy from another local LCS. So I have it. I have not read it yet. Is there any traction, any long-term traction with this? My question is, what happens when those 12,000 units are discovered?
Right. They were printed and they're somewhere, and at some place they're going to figure out what the issue is. So is this scarcity a temporary thing? I just would not buy into this to speculate. If you're looking to read the story, you're interested in the Ultimate Universe, great. This is probably a good book to buy. If you're looking to flip, you bet if you don't have it in hand now, I would be really hesitant to pay a premium for this book, because I just don't see it being a long-term value.
I do not begrudge anyone who has this right now for flipping it. Do it. If you got it,
do it.
And you don't want to keep it, do it. Strike while the iron's hot. There is demand. I mean, some people might have some weird ethical thing. I don't say weird. Some people might have an ethical issue, like you're taking advantage of people. People want it. They're willing to pay for it. So I don't know.
Supply and demand. It's not like it's, food to keep people alive. They just want this disposable good. If you happen to have it, sell it and make a profit.
Long term, it is an ultimate book. It's a alternate Earth. I don't think it's going to hold any value for long term. He said, "Ultimate Fallout 4." There is something here for fans of Black Panther and fans of Moon Knight. Look at that cover, Richard. You see a little bit of Khonshu reference happening here. we've seen how in the past the Ultimate Universe has really informed the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a lot of ways. Who knows what this the long term plan for this is going to be? I'm gonna read it. I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. I still don't have an Ultimate Spider-Man one. Not gonna pay for it. Not gonna look for it. But second print already announced for this. If you haven't gotten it and you want to read it, just wait and get the second print. And we'll
Yeah.
see. 12,000 units. Okay. We don't have access like we used to for orders. So is 12,000 units 10% of the print run? Is it 20% of the print run?
I doubt it's 120,000 book print run.
Me too. I don't think it was anywhere near
So,
that. I think half of that
yeah.
is being optimistic.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So this could be a significant percentage. But again, they're simply lost. They were not destroyed, so they're out there somewhere. And at worst case scenario, somebody finds a warehouse find in 6 months where they all showed up, and the value of this book plummets after that point. So yeah, just be careful about speculating with this book.
Chuck Rosansky. All right, let's move on to a little surprise the last week or so. Uh, you guys, let me preface this by saying you do not have to do this, but people are sending us stuff, Richard. Luckily, they're not explosives or anthrax; they're actual books. Uh, you don't have to do this, you guys. Let me underline it. You do not have to do this, so don't feel any kind of weirdness. But I really wanted to share what we got sent. I got something from our buddy Maddie from Comic Sales on Instagram. That is
Mhm.
Comic Sales on Instagram. He says, and the note attached to it, thank you and Richard for the great content. Dear John, what do you get for the Herc collector who has everything, all caps? Hopefully, this oddity I came across fills a gap in your collection. Maddie from Comics. And I'm going to show you what it is after I take the post its off. It is Muscles, Myths, and Movies, an acquired taste on video guide to the cinematic adventures of Hercules. From Steve Reeves' 1958 Hercules to Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1969 Hercules in New York. Thank you, Maddie. I don't know if you looked through this, Maddie. It's compiled by someone named Steve Flacasiea. There's a name. I'm going to take a stab here and guess that our good buddy Steve, who wrote this, is gay because he goes through every single Hercules movie that has been made, and I mean every single one, Italian ones, Bollywood. I mean, he digs in deep. And each movie has a little synopsis, shows who's in it, and then rates the guy who's playing Hercules' musculature on a scale of like, godlike to anemic, and is very specific. In this movie, in this scene, Steve Reeves is shirtless. In this movie, in this scene, Lou Ferrigno flexes for 20 minutes. It's like, back in the day when porn was not accessible, I guess. You had to go rent Hercules movies and get your jollies. And here is your guide.
Well,
Needless,
that's all inclusive. That's awesome.
needless to say, this is the best gift I've gotten this week.
I have to say, Comic Sales is a great guy. He has an Instagram channel. If you're looking to buy comics, he does shows, and definitely worth checking him out. Comic Book Sales on Instagram.
Comic Sales. And
Comic Sales.
he knows what I want. Maddie, you did not have to do this. That was very sweet of you. And I truly, truly appreciate it. Now I have, I don't have to Google. I could just go to my guide. What did you get?
I got a book from this is from Sheldon is the person who sent this to me, and it is a signed copy of Spider-Verse #1 from the limited series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great. Signed on the inside, so I can get a nice blue label with it, which is awesome. And he wrote a nice note to go along with it. It says, Jed McKay was at my LCS today, January 20th, 2024. I got this book signed for you. It was signed in bronze on the credits page near the end of the book. This LCS is the store Jed visited as a youth. Keep up the great comic content. Cheers, Sheldon from PEI Canada.
It's funny you have that because I got a package from Sheldon as well.
Oh,
Uh,
did you?
yes, John, Jed McKay was at my LCS on January 2024. This is the shop that Jed frequented as a child. I had Jed sign the back cover as not to blemish the Alex Ross front, which features Quasar.
Haha, sweet.
It is an Alex Ross Quasar cover. I don't know what book this is, but it's one of those timeless variants from Alex
Mhm.
Ross. And thank you, Jed, because you got Quasar here. It'll go real nicely with my other one that has Herc right here.
Perfect.
So I've got both Quaz and Herc. Thanks to Jed. Thank you, Maddie. Thanks,
And then
everybody.
say Sheldon. Sheldon.
Did I say Jed? I said Sheldon.
Yeah.
I said Jed instead of Sheldon. Jed's the guy who signed it. Sheldon,
Mhm.
Sheldon. Thank you so much. Sorry, I got your name mixed up there. Geez, you don't have to send us stuff, guys, but thank you.
But yeah,
Truly.
thank you. We really appreciate it. And it's, it's the thought that's the important thing, and that you actually thought of us while you're standing there in line to get books signed. Thank you so much.
It's a community self hug. Um, that's the real definition of a comic fam. I just got the douche
Oh,
chills
your
when I
mouth. You said that word.
I know. But thank you. Let's take another detour here from our normal topics. I want to talk
Speaking
about
of
something.
shuddering,
Oh, speaking of shuddering, I want to talk about something I saw on Reddit this week. I couldn't believe it. I was stunned. First of all, I couldn't believe it happened. Second of all, I couldn't believe who did it. Talk about squandering your talents. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, issue 5. This is
Mhm.
a book that Marvel published that costs $5.99, $5.99, not $4.99. This will set you back $6. Look at this, and I'm using the term lightly with air quotes, art. Look at this.
For those on the podcast, there's a sample page here, and it's typical content from you would expect from Obi-Wan. You see Obi-Wan here, and you see Anakin Skywalker, but it's basically photographs that look like they've been airbrushed and outlined in Photoshop, but the heart of them are pictures instead of actual art.
This is not art. This is taking something. This is Greg Land level. This is worse than Greg Land, isn't it? Because
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how Marvel accepted this as the contents of for the series, to be
is
honest.
just chucking it out before the deadline and hitting numbers, is that the only metric now at Marvel for success? This is
I
awful.
mean, it is. Yeah, well, okay. You and I are traditional. We grew up in the era when people had Bristol board and pens and pencils, and they did all the artwork, and then it was colorized by different plates, and that was the technology. So, and that was us. But now the modern comics are done digitally. I mean, most of the artists do digital work now. No one goes back and does real pencils at this point. So is this the logical extension of that, and taking it to a point where you're encompassing images, processing them, and then incorporating them into your work? Is that what this is?
This is AI. I mean, it looks like somebody just said, hey, take the plot of the Obi-Wan miniseries and draw it in sequential order with 6 panels per page. Let me tell you who it is. That's the most shocking part of this. This is Salvador Larocca, a very, very talented artist. Granted, he
Mhm.
started off as kind of like a Joe Mad in, Jim Lee-ish type wannabe, but he drew his own stuff. It was great layouts. He drew a great run on Fantastic Four with, I believe, Chris Claremont. Uh,
Mhm.
this is what he's reduced to. I hate it. I hate it. Shame on you, Salvador Larocca. Shame on you.
Yeah, it just doesn't, again, it doesn't appeal to me. I know it doesn't appeal to you, but there may be a segment of the community that finds this totally acceptable. And maybe that's what Marvel's. I feel like an apologist here, but
You
I'm,
do.
I'm trying. I'm trying to see the other side of the coin.
It's lazy. It's purely. I hope the check's worth it, Salvador. Your reputation. Uh, apparently you don't care. You just want to pay that rent or pay that mortgage, whatever the case may be. Just shame, shame, shame. Come on the show, defend it.
I was just about to say that if you happen to be listening to this show, please do come on the show because I would love to know the thought process behind the artwork in this series. It's baffling to me someone with so much talent would be able to put something like this, put their name on it.
And if you get mad, it's because you're mad at yourself. Hey, if you like this kind of trash talk, why not become a member? For the cost of $2.99 a month, probably much more than Salvador got per page for that book.
Yeah, but less than a Starbucks.
Less than a Starbucks. Thank you. You can show your support, get a few perks as well, including exclusive member only live streams on Fridays, extra show and tell episodes on Wednesdays. And look, we'll shout you out in a future video. Look at these new people on here. Woo! See them on the screen.
Thank you.
And Richard and I are going to be at shows. This helps us get there. Some surprises coming up in terms of what shows we're attending. We'll keep you posted. If you want to join, just hit the join button next to the subscribe button below. If you are watching this on the live premiere right now, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, right now I'm in the chat giving away 1 month gift subscriptions to give you a little taste. So congratulations if you're watching this now and you get one of those. Otherwise, hit join on YouTube when you go there. All right, let's get to some show and tell. Yeah. Richard, start us off with show and tell. You do it. Go for it.
Okay. I found this book in my collection. I do not remember reading it. I talked to you about it, and you do. So it is Spider-Man versus Wolverine.
Mm.
It's a one shot where and it's I forget what year this is published. 1987.
87. Okay.
Yeah, February 87. The indicia says. You had some words about this book when I asked you about it earlier.
Yeah, notorious book for a few reasons. Jim Owsley wrote it when he was Jim Owsley before he became Christopher Priest. Mark Wright drew it. This was Owsley's attempt after the Spider-Man team left. This was his attempt to resolve the Hobgoblin. Who is the Hobgoblin? And they revealed it in Amazing Spider-Man, and then this told the whole backstory of why that reveal happened. And, spoilers if you haven't read it after 45 years or 40 years. Ned Leeds is killed by the Foreigner, and it's done in such an edgy, 80s gritty, grim and gritty, dark way. His throat is slit. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, spends that entire issue being humiliated, completely useless as a hero. Wolverine lecturing him that he's out of his element. Yeah, it's awful. There he is. There's the throat slit.
Mhm.
There's Peter Parker seeing it, finding him. It's awful, guys. Now, I say that as a fan of Priest. I love Priest now. His writing is so good now, but this was just. I'm such a happy guy today. Maybe I need some coffee.
Yeah, the thing is, this is a one shot, and it was $2.50 when $2.50 meant something. So,
Oh, it was
as
a hot book at the time, super hot.
Alien Legion on the back.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is for my original collection. So at some point I read it. I have no recollection of it, but I'm
You,
glad that you do.
you don't remember Spider-Man just being useless in his own book?
Uh,
That's a character. The guy was Owsley was the editor of the Spider-Man titles at that point.
mm,
And when he had a chance to write something featuring his character that he's in charge of ushering through the Marvel universe, he makes them completely ineffective and awful. Thumbs down, kids. I have a theme today by request, by member request. Ranger, I forget your full name, Ranger, wanted me to show off some war titles. So today it's all war books, starting with Battle number 66 from Atlas. Look at that. This is a 7.0 off-white pager with that black cover, buddy.
Yeah, black cover, helicopter on the cover, and I kind of just love these war titles from that era. They just really stood out.
And you've got Korean War stuff. This is Jack Kirby all through this book. There's a Kirby story. There's a Don Heck story. Everybody get excited. And of course, Jack Kirby cover, and just gorgeous. And
Where'd you
this
get
is
that?
from 1959. I got this from Terry years ago. I got
Oh,
I wanted to get a run of all the battle covers featuring Kirby art and Kirby covers, and
mhm.
Terry from Terry's Comics had this. And I'll tell you where I got my other ones when it's my turn again. What do you got?
Yep. I've got a book. Okay, I you got me this T-shirt.
Yep,
So much. I love Legion of Superheroes 23. This is Alex. I'm sorry. This is Alex
Adam.
Adam Hughes. Why can't I think of it? Okay, Adam Hughes, AH.
Do you want some of
Um,
my coffee?
I need some today. This is a variant cover for Deceased number 2. That's a limited series from a couple years ago.
Oh no.
It's the same cover. It's her. She's a zombie. This is a very very depressing series. 6 issues. Yeah, it does not end well. But this is a nice store variant. It's from Unknown Comics. Is where one of the store variants from them. Um, I love the cover. I collect. There's a lot of homages to this cover because it is so well loved. This is one of my favorite ones.
That's really cool. If you like nihilism.
Yeah, yeah. Don't read the series if unless you like being depressed.
Nothing depressing about this next book. If you like that Battle 7.0, how about Battle 68 in an 8.0?
Wow.
Off-white, white
Wow.
pages. I got this from Harley Yee years ago. $45, I think I paid. I mean, I'm talking years ago, like 15, 20, 2020 years ago.
Wow.
24 years ago. But I like the little date written on there in that B. I love the angle of the US troops surprising the commies. And I love the grade. And this was pre-pressing, I think. I don't even think I pressed this now that I'm looking at it. Who knows what it would be?
Oh. So
Yeah,
you got it raw and you submitted it.
I sure did. Yeah, I bought it raw. I bought all these raw. These are all mine.
Okay.
Nobody has taken a hair dryer to these corners.
Yeah, Harley normally sells books raw, so
Yeah,
yeah.
this is from him raw. He probably, if he's seeing this now, he's probably cursing. I sold that for $45. Nobody
Hey,
wanted it back then, Harley. It was a deal, buddy.
yeah, they used to sell Amazing Fantasy 15 for 10 cents, so yeah.
Exactly. This might have been, gosh, now I'm thinking about 25 years ago, year 2000, because
Mhm.
I bought this when I first moved to California, and that was in 2000. And I just took care of it and loved it ever since. And it's gorgeous, huh?
And it's awesome. Yeah, getting those books that age and that high grade is a rarity.
I don't know if it's the single highest graded. I'll have to look that up sometime. Little follow up for you guys there. All right. What do you have?
And that's a nice simple book here. Everybody knows I'm a big Miles Morales fan. This is amazing. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man #1. We jump from Ultimate Fallout to his own series, and it's a great story. He um, starts off pretty plain and simple, and meets up with people who give him his new suit. So yeah, it's a good book. Good start to the series, I thought.
Is that not after Ultimate Spider Man, though? There was Ultimate Fallout, then Miles had his own series called Ultimate Spider Man, Ultimate Comics Spider Man.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ultimate Comics. Yeah, there was a long title that
It's
it trips
confusing.
up people when you go get it graded. Yeah,
But I think that's him in the MCU proper now, right? That's the
yeah, mhm.
okay, got it. Oh, always a good one. And there's the Halloween one reprint that was done for Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
My last war book is something that you were with me at California Comic Con is a week and a half ago, a week ago, and you saw me look at this, and I'm like, "Do I have this? Do I have this?" I was agonizing. I was like, "You know what? I'm pretty sure I have it. I'm not going to buy it." And boy, for once, it was not in my Wacom app. I had not cataloged it yet. I'm glad I made the right choice. I did not buy it, and it is Star Spangled War Stories number 85.
Ah,
7.0 with Mademoiselle Marie Melie.
Melly.
Yeah, but because she's French, Mademoiselle Melie. And this is one of the 6 issues, I think, that features Mademoiselle Marie. I have 4 of the 6. I need 2 more. And I think you were next to me when I was agonizing. Do I have this? Don't I have this? And
Yeah. What grade was that one that we saw?
it was less than this. This is a 7.0. I got this from the man behind the red hood. It was the price on it was $6.50. I did not pay $6.50.
Oh,
My man Robert took care of me. But here you go.
it's
I think,
beautiful. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you actually did have it, so you weren't cursing yourself when you got home.
well, it's kind of like that Yellow Claw number 4 that I bought multiples of by accident. I can always sell it because people want those
Right.
books. People always want them. And that is one that is part of that series that people really want besides the dinosaurs versus soldiers. The dinosaur covers, those are in demand for Star Spangled War Stories. Not a lot of demand for the Unknown Soldier. I like picking up Unknown Soldier keys, that first appearance and his origin.
Mhm.
I guess I'm alone, but the Mademoiselle Marie stuff sells at a big premium. You got anything else?
That's all I got today.
I have one more, just in case. Okay,
Okay.
not a war title. It ruins my topic, my theme. But I've talked about this on the show. I don't think I've ever shown it. Have I ever shown my Scooby Doo number 1?
I think when you first got it a long time ago.
4.5 off white to white pages. I'm looking at it now. Boy, I could press the crap out of this. And I don't know if it would get a 5. It might get a 5. But if you don't know, this is the first appearance of Scooby Doo and the Mystery Machine Gang in comics. Super low print run, very scarce. It was from 1970. This is from March 1970. So Scooby Doo had just gone on the air. So we're
Wow.
not sure if it's a hit yet or not. Uh, so they were rolling the dice with this license title. And here it is. If you've ever tried to find one, you know how hard it is. You know how expensive they are. And I got one. Here's the story. Picture it, Sicily. Picture it, California, 2006. I'm on eBay. I have an eBay alert for Scooby Doo number 1. I wake up one morning and there's a Scooby Doo number 1 for $3.75 starting bid.
What?
Starting bid.
Okay.
Look at it. I look at the pictures. Send the guy a note. I say, I'll give you $100 for it right now. He did it. Oh,
Wow.
there's my $100 Scooby Doo number 1, 4.5. Thank you, eBay person, for I'm telling me my secrets about scoring stuff off eBay. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that a lot on eBay.
Yeah, I used to too. People didn't work every time, but sometimes people wanted the money.
They just want to get it over with and
Yeah,
make it happen. Speaking of
better than
getting
waiting 7 days.
speaking of getting things over with, it's your viewer mail.
You've got
Hi,
mail.
kid. We appreciate all your viewer mail. My first piece comes from our buddy Peter Eddy. I noticed the cover price on January 30th showed the hottest books, and most of them were Ultimate Spider-Man. What surprised me was the Marvel's preview with Ultimate Spider-Man on the cover. Sounds familiar? Remember the Marvel's preview with Miles on the cover?
Yeah, right.
The FOMO for these books is so crazy. The previous books is selling for stupid money. Some people are claiming it's the first appearance because previews was issued before the book. I was wondering what you guys think of this craziness. Even Key Collector Comics lists the previews 26 as a key. I am a big Nightwing fan, and Amazing Heroes number 40 and Comic Reader 216 both had previews of Tales of the Teen Titans showing Dick becoming Nightwing. I don't feel like they're his first appearance, but as a Nightwing collector, I have both in my collection. Key Collector only has Amazing Heroes on their website. They list it as a key, but as a preview appearance. Do you know of any other key books that fall into this category? Thanks, Peter. Two questions here, Peter. Number one, it is not a first appearance. Sorry. Comics are first appearances. Line in the
Right.
sand drawn. Does it mean people want them and they're worth something? Yes. Despite what we think, there is a demand for those books. Comic Reader is filled with examples like this. Moon Knight first appeared in the Comic Reader, if you want to be technical. The X-Men first appeared in FOOM number 10, the new X-Men, that is.
Mhm.
Rich, what do you think of this?
Previews 95 was the Miles Morales appeared in that preview before he showed up in Ultimate Fallout. Uh, they're not comic books. The previews are sales catalogs, and I don't count them as being first appearances because the first appearance is the books that they are advertising, not the actual advertisement. So, if you want to collect them too, just like people collect Foom and can collect Previews 95, absolutely. But I don't consider them to be first appearances.
Harley Quinn?
You're talking about that book and tape combination.
You got
Uh,
it.
yeah, I don't. Again, it's not a comic book. It's an accessory that's part of a toy. So yeah, I just don't buy that. Again, if you want to, that's great. But I think the hobby in general considers Batman Adventures 12 as being her first appearance.
I'm with the hobby. What is your first piece of viewer mail?
My first piece is from 76063 CO2.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. I'm one of the original CBCS authorized witnesses going back to 2014. Was the first approved to witness for Stan Lee. Wow. And I'm happy to see so many people now talk about making the switch. I know Brian. Brian was the gentleman we interviewed from CBCS when we were at the show. Yeah, it's interesting. There's buzz around CBCS right now. Now, I'm not saying that CGC isn't something that you should also consider, but I think it's CBCS is something that you should actually consider when you have a book and you want to submit it for grading, either for protection or for sale. Uh, I think more people are considering CBCS as a viable choice, partly because of some of the improvements that CBCS has done, and partly because of some of the problems CGC has had. But I don't think people can deny it's a viable alternative.
Submission update. Submitted Yellow Claw number 3 and one of my crime books. I'm blanking on which one I did right now as a test. Submitted them at the show last Sunday. Still
Mhm.
not received. 5
Okay.
business days, not received yet. So just I'll keep you guys posted. Not
Yeah.
I'm not judging yet. I'm just saying.
it's yeah. We'll see what the complete turnaround time is.
My next piece of viewer mail is from our member, one of our members, James Reeves. I know it's a long way from California and not a short trip from Ohio, but have either of y'all ever been to Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina? It has been a yearly trip for me every year, not canceled by a pandemic, for almost 20 years. While the con has grown huge in recent years, it is still the best comic focused convention I know. No TV, no movies, no video games, just comic creators, vendors, and fans. If you have not been or have not been lately, I highly suggest a trip. No, I have not been to Heroes Con simply because it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Richard?
Yeah, I have not been either. It's as you mentioned, it's a bit of a haul from Cleveland, uh, but I'm not adverse to going.
To be fair, we went to Baltimore. That was a first. So this might be the first year for Heroes Con. I'm not opposed to going. It's a trip. Lastly, knowing your combined interest, what did you think of the 2012 Phantom Lady and Dollman series that DC spun out of the Freedom Fighters? Thanks for all the entertainment, James. Richard, how, how do you and I not have this book? Each of us.
I know, I know. We talked at one of the shows. We talked about this book. I do not have a copy of it. Phantom Lady and Dollman. It does seem to be, John's the peanut butter, and here's the chocolate being me and all smushed together.
Got you a fan of
Uh,
me, my doll man bondage.
yeah. How don't we have a copy of this? That's a
Please,
very, very good question.
please tell me it is 32 pages of bondage of both of them just being tied up over and over again.
Tying each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be something I would buy.
If it's not, I'm going to be severely disappointed, James Reeves. All right, what's your next piece of your mail?
My next piece is from Greg Sugg, 1640. And Greg says, I remember the great DC implosion.
Hmm?
Prices went from 25 cents in 1975 to 30 cents to 35 to 40 to dollar comics in 3 years.
Hmm.
It was priced out of my interest as a 13-year-old to chase after titles like DC Superheroes versus Super Gorillas.
Yeah, great book.
And Super Team Family.
Mm.
Nothing sounds more generic than Super Team Family.
Super Team Family was a weird. First, it reprinted stories featuring super teams. So
Mhm,
here's like Teen Titans and Doom Patrol, and then they started printing new stories. So there would be a Challengers of the Unknown, a new story with them, and then a Doom Patrol reprint. Then it became a team up book, like Marvel Team Up, where there was a thread where the Atom was in every issue, but then he'd have friends like you got wacky combinations like the Flash and the New Gods teaming up. What? Um, so it was a strange title. I actually have a run of Super Team Family because it's so bizarre.
So, how did DC survive? I mean, if you are driving your price up that much in that short a period of time, to me, it sounds like you are just eliminating your market.
They weren't alone. Marvel was the same. Charlton was the same. Everybody was kind of following each other in that price increase. Jeanette Kahn, publisher of DC, tried to be strategic. That's why she did dollar comics because she figured retailers would make more money selling a dollar comic than they would selling a 35-cent comic book. So they'd
Mhm,
get more rack space. They would, get featured. And the dollar comics, say what you want, they were semi-successful because they lasted a long time. At least World's
mhm,
Finest and a Superman Family lasted a while. GI Combat. So
mhm,
there was success there, but yeah, I think the one thing that probably saved DC was Superman, the movie, Superman 2, the
mhm.
movie, and Wonder Woman, the TV show, things like that kept them going.
Yeah, very timely. What's your
Yeah.
next piece?
It is from David Lewis, who DM'd us on Instagram. Richard, help me out here. Hi there. I'm considering buying an Amazing Spider Man 129 First Punisher and could really use your expertise. Here is my dilemma. The cover has had some tape on it. Part of it was removed, which made a minor hole, half inch. The hole only goes through the cover. There is minor discoloration on the first page in the spot where the hole appeared. There are two small pieces of tape, half inch, near where the original piece was removed. The tape have some pen marks on them. Other than this, Mrs. Lincoln, the book looks to be around a 4 to 5 CGC grade. Given your
Uh,
expertise, do you think this would drop the grade below a 2.0? David, first of all, thanks for reaching out. Second of all, we need to see the book, honestly. Third of all, I can't imagine if the cover's attached to both staples and complete, you're going to get more than a 2.0. You're 2.5 at the lowest.
yeah, I'm thinking, 3 is probably, if there's no other flaws with it, but like John says, I would like to see the book. Do not remove the tape that's still there. I think it's especially with that yellow cover, you're never gonna survive removing that tape. Um, yeah, if you have an opportunity to send us a picture, please do, and we can take a look at it.
It's also I'm gonna counter Richard. Don't remove the tape unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, I have well, my concern is there are substances, there's something called Undo, I have a bottle of it sitting here on the shelf that I've used that will, basically counteract adhesive. So you spray it on something, it soaks in, it makes the adhesive not stick anymore, and you can pull the tape off at that point pretty safely. My problem though with that yellow cover is that you're gonna get it's not the adhesive anymore, it's the fact that where the adhesive used to be is going to be a different color than the rest of the cover,
Yeah.
and that's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Also, be careful with undo. I prefer a hair dryer and a flat scraping tool, and then maybe a little drop of undo on a Q-tip that's wrung out. Don't do it if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
an expensive book. It's worth hiring someone to do it. Also, don't remove tape if it's holding something on. That,
good point.
if it's there for a reason, leave it. What is
Yeah.
your last piece of your mail?
My last piece is from Vinny Whitlock 7080. And Vinny says, in 2019 at LA Comic Con, I bought two books from Nico. Nico was one of the gentlemen we had on for our interview at California Comic Con. From Nico, a Hulk 340 and a Wolverine 1 limited series, both newsstand and very high grade. He sold them both for $100. Blue Chip has earned my friendship, and Blue Chip is the company that Nico owns and business. Thanks, Nico, and thank you, Richard and John. Yeah, Nico's a great guy. I've seen him for the past few years at different shows and different conventions. This is the first opportunity we've actually had a chance to get him in front of the mic. And yeah, stand up guy. He loaned us his Batman #1 4.5 for like an hour while we were doing.
Oh, he's like, just don't take it. Okay.
Yeah, so he's a trusting soul, great guy, blue chip comic. If you have an opportunity, check them out on Instagram. They are a buyer and seller. They're a dealer in comics, and great place if you're looking for some of the high end books.
We were kind of carrying that Batman 1 slab around like Weekend at Bernie's, you know.
Well,
Uh,
what about the Captain America one and the subby one that
eh,
we also were walking around with?
Follow us on Instagram if you haven't seen those pictures of us holding these these houses, basically,
Yeah.
books that can be used for a mortgage. Well, maybe not a mortgage. Maybe you could buy a house for the price of a Captain America #1 25 years ago. Hey, it's the to return of the 25-year rule. If you can't fit a segue, force it. 25
That's
years.
right.
We go back to 1999 now that we are in 2024. Oh man, Hulk 99 annual. This is part of the ill-fated John Byrne reboot of the Hulk that lasted a whole 7 issues before Johnny Boy once again would leave in a huff. Did we learn nothing about John Byrne's first Hulk run where he left after 6 issues? This annual in particular is a retelling and a reimagining of the Hulk origin that nobody asked for. Byrne Spider-Man Chapter 1 style. Now, if you read Chapter 1, Spider-Man Chapter 1, you know that means a lot of unnecessary and frankly confounding changes to the origin. For example, for the Hulk, it's now a gamma laser that's being tested instead of a gamma bomb. That's an important change, Richard,
Why make the change?
because he's John Byrne, darn it. Bruce's lab assistant Igor, still Igor, but hold on, he's no longer a Russian spy. Igor is now a Skrull. Why? John Byrne. That's why. That's all you need to know, mister. Hey, I kid, sort of. Great art by Lee Weeks. Beautiful Lee Weeks art. Much of this and the changes, like Spider Man Chapter 1, would immediately be ignored, retconned, and poo pooed. If you really want a Hulk 99 annual to look at the pretty art, you can grab it for around $5. It is pretty to look at. Lee Weeks is really just one of those great artists. I loved him on Daredevil, loved him here. But man, Paul Jenkins could not come fast enough on this Hulk title.
Well, I'd say poor John Byrne, but nah, he pretty much made his own grave here with this book.
Yeah, well, it's just one example of I'm going to destroy everything. I demand the right to destroy everything. Oh, you didn't let me destroy enough. I quit. I'm taking my destroy ball and going home. Bye. Have fun drawing lab rats for DC. What? You've never heard of that book? Oh, sorry. Richard, let's move on. Unless you have something else to say about Mr. Byrne.
No, I have nothing else to say about Mr. Byrne. I appreciate his art. How about that?
I have something to say about Mr. Byrne in our underrated books of the week. But first, I'll let you go.
Yeah, my pick this week is King Conan #1 from 1980. There's another King Conan the King series in 1984, but this is the 1980 series.
It's the same series, it just changed names.
Mhm.
That's all.
Uh,
They,
so
they,
this
wa-
is
they wanted to rack it next to Conan, the barbarian.
okay, alphabetically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a story of Conan. He is, everyone knows who Conan is. This is Conan in the later part of his life. According to the book, he's in his 50s. He kills the tyrant of Aquilonia and takes the throne, and now is no longer a wandering force of nature that he is in the Conan book, but he's now a ruler, and he has to deal with different situations than he had. He can't solve things the same way he solved them when he was a barbarian. So the story's about him, his family. He gets married to Zenobia. They have a child named Conan, who they call Khan. um, and it's about, the series is about Conan as a ruler, and it's a different take. If you're used to reading Conan and the regular series for Conan, this is an older Conan,
Mhm.
and it's an interesting storyline. This particular book, #1, has John Buscema pencils. Roy Thomas does the story, and they're basically retelling the original storyline from Lynn Carter and L. Sprague de Camp. So GPA in this book is for 9.8 is for okay. This book came out in the 1980. So the direct book actually is more valuable than the newsstand. The direct is about $108. The newsstand shows up at $93 for a 9.8. There is a 9.9 of this book, which I find difficult to believe because this is a nice black cover, and it's a book from 1980. So I really have a hard time. But anyways, it's 9.9, but it hasn't sold since 2015. So someone out there is holding on to it, and I would love to see it just to judge the condition of 9.9s from 1980.
And square bound on top of that.
Yes, it is squarebound. Yes, a big book.
Yeah.
Have you read this?
I used to read King Conan and Conan the King, which it became later. Beautiful Mike Kaluta covers on some of
Mhm,
these. It was a different take. This just reminds you how huge Conan the Barbarian was in the 70s. He had
mhm.
two ongoing titles, a magazine, a reprint magazine, Conan Saga. So it was big money for Conan the Barbarian, and this was around time when the movie came out, I believe. So they were really raking it in.
Conan the King was in my pull list. When I was buying books on a regular basis, I was reading Conan the King. It was I was used to reading, Savage Sword,
Mhm.
and the magazines, and it was a logical transition for me to go to um, you know King Conan, just to see how it ended, so to speak.
Yeah, you even had tangentially related titles like Red Sonja was back,
Huh?
Cole the Barb or Cole the Conqueror, Cole the King, Cole the Destroyer, whatever you want to call him.
Mhm.
Poor Cole, he never got the love.
No more love than Krull.
No more. Oh, Kroll, man. Yeah, okay. The only good thing about Kroll was the video game. The
Yeah,
arcade. That Kroll, man. I used to Aladdin's Castle. They would give my allowance for Kroll, buddy. Kroll and
yeah.
Tron, Deadly Discs of Tron. Uh,
Hmm.
let's go back to our friend John Byrne, shall we?
Hmm.
My underrated book this week is Iron Fist 15. This is a book that I was pleased to inform Richard of this week when he asked why I bought it. It is the first time Chris Claremont and John Byrne collaborated on the new X-Men. Just 2 short months after this, John Byrne would debut as the new penciler on the X-Men with X-Men 108. This book is funny. It takes place between pages of X-Men 109. when they come back from the Shi'ar War. Wolverine is still wearing that new Fang outfit that he stole off one of the basically Timberwolf from the Legion. Don't tell anyone. Uh, so it's a fun issue where Iron Fist takes on the entire new X-Men team and holds his own. This book is also holding its own, believe it or not, during the dip. The 90-day GPA for a CGC 9.8 is $1,280, and that is up from $725 in 2022.
This was a great pick then. You showed me some books that you got, and I questioned why this particular one, but I bow to your knowledge
I
of
yeah,
Iron Fist.
I'm not that good. I have a little bit of caveat. The 2022 sale and the 90-day GPA sale are single sales. One 9.8 sold for both of those time periods. That's because there are a mere 55 9.8s on the census of this book.
Wow.
And there's a 35-cent variant, which we won't even get into how many thousands of dollars that sells for. Now, if you want this, 9.4s are in the more affordable $152 range on average. This is kind of a significant X-Men key, in my opinion, but does the first work by an artist on a character matter like it used to? Remember when, first Byrne art on X-Men was a big deal, or first
Right.
Byrne Fantastic Four? Does it matter anymore? Do fans like that anymore? And I thought, no, not really. It's old people like us. And then I remembered first Todd McFarlane on Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that's still old people. Okay, that's 1998.
I
I'm
get.
sorry, 1988. That's old people.
Remember New Mutants 87 used to be a big book? You know,
Hmm.
first
Yeah,
Life, first Cable. Is it still a big book?
yeah, I think so. I think it still is. I think those characters are make it a big book.
Mhm.
Whether it's because of the artist's first time on that character, I think isn't as important as that character's um, importance.
X-Men 248, first Jim Lee X-Men? Do we care?
Not really.
You guys tell us what you think. You know how the comments work. Let us know what you think. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Join if you're not a member yet. And say hi to Richard, everybody. Hi, Richard.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Now say bye to Richard. Bye, Richard.
Hi, everybody. Stay safe.